Dr. Brian Beattie is with us now. So the respiratory syncytial virus, I don't know if it's syncytial's right, RSV. Everyone's heard about it in the last couple of weeks, Brian. It's causing all sorts of problems. But how common is this? Because we have it every winter, right, Brian?
This virus, it's very much a winter virus, and it is with us pretty well every winter. And for the majority of people, that is, if you're an adult, if you're an older child, it basically causes a mild cold-like illness. So that's a bit of a snuffle, blocked nose, congestion, slight cough. So very, very common all over the place, very difficult to avoid most winters, except for our young infants and babies.
Right.
Sometimes they end up with infections on the lungs, and this causes something called bronchiolitis, or occasionally a viral pneumonia, which is a bit more severe. And we're hearing about these cases in hospitals at the moment in ICU because of this.
Yeah, right. Okay. I mean, it's been horrible seeing the pics of little kids, who've been really affected by this. But we're sort of being affected by a double whammy, aren't we? Because there wasn't RSV last year.
Yeah, look, it's slightly counterintuitive what's happened. So last year we had lockdown. So we had no people coming in across the border because of COVID. And what happens with people coming in across the border, they bring these viruses into the country. So things like influenza, things like cold-like viruses, things like RSV, they come in from overseas. So last year, we didn't have a single case of RSV. We didn't have a single case of flu. We had none of these viruses in the country. So what's actually happened is none of our children have been exposed to this virus up to about the age of 2. So we've ended up with this double whammy, this double hit. They're not exposed to the virus. They have no immunity to it. So it's really taken off this year. When we opened up the bubble with Australia, the virus came into the country and it's gone kaboom. And that's why we're seeing the number of cases we're seeing.
So what can we do? Is there anything we can do?
Well, look, I mean, there's no specific treatment like antibiotics or anything like that because it's a virus, so we can't do that. But for our babies in particular that we get concerned about, I think the main thing is it's often transmitted from adults or other older children. So if you've got a young infant or a young baby and you've got another child in the family who may have a cold-like illness, just keep them away from the baby. Again, if you're a parent, make sure you wash your hands frequently. And if you've got a cold, just avoid things like kissing the baby, which can transmit the virus. So we can try and just keep the baby protected if we can't, but it is actually very, very difficult. It does tend to go around. But the thing I do need to say, and this is really important, for most babies and most young children, when they get this virus, it is actually very mild to moderate. They still get a bit of a stuffy nose, a bit of a cough, a slight temperature, and they don't get very affected. It's only a very few of the young babies who end up with the severe form of the disease.
Okay. Thanks so much for your advice, Brian. We really appreciate that, and hopefully we will see the number of cases drop off in the next couple of weeks. After 11 o'clock on News Talk ZB.
Your home for live sport.
Oh, and eventually it goes in.
The best from the land.
G'day, New Zealand. I'm Jamie Mackay.
And the greatest hits. Gold AM. Streaming on iHeartRadio. Just search Gold AM. Live rugby commentary.
What a try!
All Blacks.
Oh, my.
NPC.
Well done.
And more. Gold AM. Listen live on iHeartRadio. Just search Gold AM.